Hey guys, this is Ludwig. Welcome to another episode of Ludwig Academy, and today we'll be going over a very important chapter. The other ones are also very important as well, but today we'll be talking about pull rates. So basically, for any gacha game, you should really look at the pull rates, and then you should really open that more detailed thing and really check out what the rates actually are. So understanding the probability would help you make the most efficient investment decisions for any gacha game basically. So knowing the rates well also gives you a good idea of what you should expect if you were to pull this many times, or how to efficiently use up your MD. So for SAO MD, it's pretty easy. You just want to pull basically all the cheap rates. Later on, we'll get into, I guess, more in-depth stuff like if you have 7 core crystals, should you pull or not, etc. Alright, but first let's just look at this very typical drop rate table. So everyone should know this, that it's a 3% for 6-star, 3% for 5-star, etc. So what this actually means is for veterans, they basically never run out of hacking crystals. So if you play long enough, every 5-star, 4-star you get, most of the time they'll be hacking crystals, they'll be dupes. Alright, so for the individual rates, it's 1.5%. For each of the 6 stars, because we only have 2 of them, and then they break down to 3%. For 5 stars, it's complicated, but each character gets about 0.03% chance for every single pull you're doing. So if you're looking for a particular 5 star, it's basically impossible to get. So this is just for the single rate. Let's talk about the expected value for, I guess, a multipull. So the expected number of 6 stars you're getting for a multipull will just be 0.33 because they're doing something with a 3% success rate 11 times, so 0.33. That means if we do 3 multipulls, you should expect to get 1 6-star. Of course, luck doesn't always go that way, so the better way to understand it is if you get 100 multipulls, you should get 33 6 stars. Yeah, 33. So we'll go back to this later when we're talking about weapons, because it's complicated for weapons. But for 6 stars, it's actually pretty easy to calculate what you need. So for example, let's look at this rate up first, and then for rate ups, just recommend to pull rate ups if there's a particular character you want. So for example, Tize, her original rate was 1.5%. For her rate up, it's at 2%, so slightly higher, not that much higher. So let's learn a little bit of binomial distribution today, and if you already learned this, then perfect, you don't have to watch this video. But it's very helpful to calculate what's basically the percent chance that you'll get something out of a pull. So we'll start by calculating the probability that we get nothing, no 6 stars out of a multipull. And if we do 1 minus that probability, that's the probability that we get something out of a multipull. So each fail, there's a 97% chance for a fail because, well, it's only 3% chance for a 6-star, hence 97% chance fail for each single pull. And then we do 0.97 to the power of 11 because we want that to happen 11 times in a row, well, for the purpose of calculation. And therefore, 0.97 to the power 11 is the chance that we don't get any 6 stars. Now we just need to do 1 minus that, and that gives us the chance that we get something, at least 1 6-star. Now as you see, it's about 28.5% chance, so that seems pretty low. And that is the truth, it is only 28% chance to get something. Now as you do more pulls, you'll see how likely it is to get a 6-star. For example, if you did 55 pulls, it is, well, more than 80% chance to get a 6-star. So what that means is it's still possible to get nothing out of 55 pulls, basically. So when people say like Argo curse, well, how likely is it? Well, for example, let's say if I did 99 pulls and got nothing. So I'm punching this in the calculator right now. It's still a 5% chance that I get nothing out of 9 multipulls, so it's not impossible. So there we go, and hopefully this can help you a lot. And then you can also do this for, let's say, the rate up. If you want, like, Yuki in particular, what's the probability? Well, if you do like 22 pulls, alright, so it seems like it's only a 36% chance to get her in 22 pulls. So mostly you'll have to rely on the record crystal scout. So if you get a Alright, and then now it's a good time to talk about the recorded crystal scouts. So if you saw the table, it's actually a very high chance to get either 2 or 3 recorded crystals, and it's very hard to get above that. So of course it's not evenly distributed, so basically very rarely you'll get 9 or 10 recorded crystals in one pull. Yeah, so what that means is if you're at 0 recorded crystals, you need about 4 pulls to get a recorded crystal scout. If you're at 7 recorded crystals, it is worth to do that, I guess, 250 memory diamond pull. Yeah, so it's a better chance than doing 125 pulls, basically. Alright, so let's also take a look at the drop rate of these, I guess, 4 fun scouts. I absolutely love doing these scouts, and then as you see, it's 1% chance for an R4 exchange sword, so that's the thing that you want to look out for. If you get one of these, you would be considered extremely lucky. And then let's look at the one for bronze scouts. Alright, so for a memory fragment, it's a 1% chance, and then if you get one of these from a bronze scout, you would also be considered very lucky, as it's only 1% per pull. So let's also talk about weapons for a bit. And so for a weapon banner, the success rate for a 4-star is just 4%. So this is split evenly among how many weapons there are. So if there's only 2 weapons, then it's just a 2% rate for each 4-star weapon. And I did a little bit of expectation calculation here, but if you want just 6 weapons from any banner, it's going to take 8 pulls, and that will cost about 1,100 memory diamonds. So that's basically what you need for an R5 from a 2-weapon banner, so 6 weapons, that's probably an R5. Alright, and finally, I'll introduce this little calculator here. So you input, this is a binomial distribution calculator. You put a probability of success. I'll put it as 3%, number of trials. Let's say we're doing 55 pulls, and then how many number of successes you want. So the first value is the probability you get exactly 1 success. And mainly we want to look at, I guess, the last one. So what's the probability that we get at least 1 success? That's 80% here. Right, and that's the end of this video. I hope you learned something today. I will be out of topic soon for Ludwig Academy, so feel free to suggest anything that you would love to hear about. Alright, so see you guys next time then.